This is hard, and I was under no illusions when I embarked on this path. But I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's good for our democracy. We will be more effective if we are unified going forward.
All right, the president, while overseas, now come Monday, House and Senate members will get another private intelligence briefing from the president's national security team. And then Tuesday, President Barack Obama takes his case straight to the American people with a national address. But one Democratic lawmaker the president normally can count on is not on board. A longtime New York Congressman Charlie Rangel is against taking military action in Syria. Congressman Rangel, good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, you have quite the history with your own military experience. You've received the Purple Heart and the Bronze Star for Valor in the Korean conflict, so you know the realities of war. But why is it you believe the U.S. should not get involved militarily in Syria?
This country has been so good to me that if I thought for one hot minute that our national security was in danger, not only will I volunteer to do whatever an 83-year-old veteran could do, but I would insist on having a draft so that all Americans will have an opportunity to defend this great country. But the threat to national security, the last time I heard language like this and limited war and we have to stop these evil people was Saddam Hussein. Now, that's been over 10 years ago. 6,700 Americans have been killed. We've spent $1 trillion, and I have been elected to represent the people in my congressional district. I could not possibly go before them and say that what I've heard from the president and the Secretary of State warrants going to war.
So a couple things here. You're drawing direct parallels between Iraq and Syria. So are you saying that the intelligence leading up to the war in Iraq is very similar to the intelligence now leading up to these limited missile strikes or limited strikes to Syria? And then second of all, you say that the U.S. is not in danger here. This is not a threat to national security. And you heard the president and the secretary outlaying that U.S. interests abroad would be potentially targeted if, say, this dictator or others like him were able to continue on with impunity.
Let me take the second part of your question first, and that is, this is a dangerous man. He is a threat to the international community. I don't know why the community of nations just believe that you can kill people anytime you want with anything you want in a civil war, except don't use chemicals. Okay, so there is an agreement. We are a world power. We should enforce these agreements. But why America alone? This is absolutely ridiculous. In the whole world, 98% of the countries have solved this international agreement. We don't have the United Nations. We don't have the Security Council. We don't have the Arab League. We don't have Great Britain. We don't have the European Union. Give me a break.
So
we're
if
not
the
the
Arab
only
League
one.
or if Turkey or even if there was another vote in Parliament with Great Britain, if there were resounding yeses to be involved militarily alongside the U.S., then that might change your mind?
I think not, because, we're going through sequestration. If you want a war, it should be a war against those people that are not even thinking about the pain of sequestration. We got millions of people that are living in poverty. Old folks won't be able to get their meals on wheels. Clinics that are not able to take care of our children. Jails that are filled with young people that should have been in school learning how to do high tech so we'll be competitive. I know what is a threat to our national security. And if internationally this criminal, and he is one, he should be dealt with by the international community. Even the communists in Russia said, let's hold on before we get into a war. Let's see what more we can do diplomatically. When I first heard that the president intended to do this, I prayed that he would bring it to the Congress, and forcibly he did. When I heard from Secretary Kerry, I thought if we didn't do it overnight, that our nation would be in trouble. Now the president is taking a deep breath. Now the Congress will be meeting, and the president will be going to the American people. And
what are you hoping the president will say? What does he need to say to convince the American people, to convince you and other lawmakers who are already saying no to strikes, convince them otherwise?
That because he's been able to talk with the international community, they have found a way to isolate this monster, to cut off all sources to his income, to convince Russia and China that this is not just a threat to our nation, it's a threat to the world. And all of the people in the world, I hope they have a respect for not killing anyone, that chemical gases should not be used even during a war, and collectively our country will resume trying to get back to fight the people in Congress that have the sequestration, that won't let our country go back to jobs, back to education, and back to those things that will allow us to become everything that we hope and dream that we can be.
Congressman Charles.
Right.
All right, Congressman Charles Rangel, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and for joining us on this Saturday afternoon from New York. Appreciate it.
Thank you.